Caitlin Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve.
Because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team.
Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, they traded their coaches. They didn't trade any players in the draft. They traded their coaches.
But I cannot believe she traded the coach.
Caitlin Clark has just pulled off the most shocking move of the 2025 WNBA All-Star Draft, and the entire league is still trying to process it. In front of a live national audience, Clark not just picked players, but traded her own coach, Cheryl Reeve. This was a power move, and Reeve, she did not see it coming.
The WNBA All-Star Draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, the team captains, picking the players, picking the rosters.
Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier stepped up as captains to draft their WNBA All-Star Game rosters, and things got wild fast. What started as a fun made-for-TV moment turned into one of the most unforgettable power moves the league has ever seen. Caitlin Clark just flipped the script on the entire WNBA. And Cheryl Reeve, she wasn't ready. What looked like a friendly, lighthearted all-star draft quickly turned into a masterclass in silent revenge. In a moment that caught everyone off guard, Caitlin Clark made the boldest move of the night. She traded her coach. Not a player, not a pick. Her coach.
Caitlin Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve.
Clark was originally assigned to Cheryl Reeve, the legendary Minnesota Lynx coach and the same woman who coached Team USA, the team Clark was very publicly snubbed from. And on live TV, Clark simply said, "I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't care. We're trading the coach." That's not just a move. That's a statement.
Of course, Reeve is Collier's head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, so that makes sense.
Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty, was brought in to lead Team Clark. The swap was instantly accepted by Napheesa Collier, who conveniently plays under Reeve in Minnesota, and clearly had no issue taking her own coach. But this trade wasn't about comfort or strategy. It was about history.
But the drama is going to come from Reeve having previously been critical on social media about the amount of attention Clark received relative to the rest of the Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team, to Collier for Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty.
So, in front of the cameras, in front of the league, Caitlin Clark took back control. She wasn't going to play nice. She wasn't going to sit on the bench of someone who never backed her in the first place.
She said no.
And she did it without raising her voice or breaking a sweat. The best part, she did it with a smile. This wasn't petty. It was calculated. And in doing so, she gave a voice to every player who's ever been told to stay quiet, take the high road, or wait their turn. Clark didn't wait. She moved.
I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal.
It wasn't just that Clark traded Reeve. It's who she replaced her with. Brondello isn't just another coach. She's someone who's embraced Caitlin's game. Someone who might already be thinking long-term. Could this be the start of a quiet recruitment to New York? Some fans think so. The Liberty are building something, and adding Clark to the backcourt with Sabrina Ionescu would be a dream scenario. Brondello now gets to coach both of them in the All-Star game. A coincidence? Maybe, but it's starting to look like the chess pieces are moving and fast. Cheryl Reeve may still be a respected name in the league, but on this night, she was the one left scrambling. And Caitlin, she just kept smiling like she knew exactly what she was doing the entire time.
Caitlin Clark taking her teammates we knew, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell. She's also taken Sabrina Ionescu and the pink-haired player known as Asia Wilson. That's right.
Let's just say this. Caitlin Clark didn't just draft a team.
She
crafted a message. And that message was loud, clear, and a little bit savage. When the WNBA All-Star rosters were.
She made sure she picked no ops, as people like to call them. She made sure there were no ops on her team.
And Caitlin Clark also wound up with all of the Fever members on her squad as well, meaning Aaliyah Boston, Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell will be a trio in Indianapolis.
Announced it wasn't just about who made the cut, it was about who didn't. Because Clark didn't just build a squad, she built a circle of trust. If you've said anything sideways about her in the last 18 months, congrats. You're watching from the other bench.
She picked none of her rivals, other than Aja Wilson, because as Ken Swift's graphic says, Team Caitlyn, no ops allowed, except Aja.
Clark's draft strategy could be summed up in one now iconic meme. Team Caitlyn, no ops allowed. That went viral within minutes because, well, it was true. She loaded up her roster with friends, allies, and teammates she shared the court with before. Sonia Citron, former Team USA buddy. Gabby Williams has never said a bad word about her. Kikian young, fast, and far from the drama. And of course, she grabbed every Fever teammate available. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell were a lock from the jump. Even her wild card picks made sense. We ping none of our rivals. Other than AJ Wilson because, as Kane Swift's graphic says, Team Caitlyn, no ops allowed except Asia. Sata Sabali, one of the loudest pro-Clark voices in the league, always defending Fever fans and hyping up the new wave. And then there was AA Wilson. Now look, everyone saw this coming. AA is a generational talent, a two-time MVP, and arguably the best player in the world right now. Caitlyn might be selective, but she's not delusional. She knows a super team when she sees one, and AA Wilson was not getting passed up just because of some awkward press moments. So, yes, AA made the no ops allowed squad, but she's the exception, not the rule.
Here she picks her teammate, Courtney Williams. She picks her UConn alum, Brianna Stewart, Paige Beckers.
Now, while Clark was silently stacking her Avengers-level lineup, Nafisa Collier was stirring up some TV gold of her own. On live television during the actual draft, Collier dropped the line of the night. When Angel Reese's name came up, she leaned into the mic and said, "Mebound." Yep, the very word that once dragged Reese through WNBA Twitter hell. And who was sitting 2 seats over when that happened? Caitlin Clark. Clark's reaction was stone cold. No smirk, no laugh, not even a raised eyebrow, just a frozen stare.
Angel Reese has filed a trademark for the rebound term me-bound.
Talk about the glow up for a second, because Angel Reeve has since taken that me-bound nickname and flipped it. She's been dominating lately. We're talking monster stat lines, double-doubles almost every game, and walking into every arena with that you can't break me energy. She didn't just reclaim the insult, she turned it into a brand, and that deserves respect. Even Clark would probably agree if she ever broke that poker face.
Clark should have a very fast team there. When you look at it, I mean, Williams is really fast for a forward. Obviously, Kelsey's very fast. Citron's very fast. Jackie Young's one of my favorite players. Area Finn, a rookie, can get up and down the floor. Ionescu can help spread the floor along with Kelsey and Clark so they can really shoot.
Talk about the glow up for a second, because Angel Reeve has since taken that me-bound nickname and flipped it. She's been dominating lately. We're talking monster stat lines, double-doubles almost every game, and walking into every arena with that you can't break me energy. She didn't just reclaim the insult, she turned it into a brand, and that deserves respect. Even Clark would probably agree if she ever broke that poker face.
Caitlyn made sure to get some size. She actually passed up on Paige Beckers to take Sabali, and she took Asia Wilson with her third pick. If Asia had fallen any further down the board, that would have been a wee bit of a controversy, if we're being real about it. But Clark picked her, I think, Justin.
Back to the draft, though, because once you actually look at the team Clark assembled, you start to realize she may have just built a low-key super team. Let's break it down. Starting 5, Caitlin Clark at the 1, Sabrina Ionescu at the 2, such as Sabali sliding in at the wing, Aaliyah Boston holding it down in the paint, and AA Wilson anchoring the front court. That's speed, spacing, strength, and absolutely no chill.
But there's got to be something in the back of Caitlyn's mind that still feels a little miffed, even if Reeve wasn't directly responsible for her not making the Olympic squad.
Then you look at the bench, and it gets even nastier. Kelsey Mitchell, the flamethrower. Gabby Williams, defensive beast. Sonia Citron, shooter and slasher. Kiki Iriafin, young explosive big. Jackie Young, a future All-Star MVP, and Kayla Thornton, underrated glue piece. It's not just a talented group, it's a balanced one. This team can run, stretch the floor, and play big if needed. You've got shooters everywhere. Clark, Sabrina, Mitchell. You've got size and rebounding with Boston and AA. You've got athletes like Gabby and Kiki who can fly up and down the court. It's basically built for chaos, but smart, well-organized chaos.
Has surpassed everybody in the amount of time that she has played in the WNBA. She fills up every arena in every town that she goes to. Teams have to go to bigger arenas.
And let's not skip the petty detail that had fans spiraling. Clark passed on Paige Bucher, just left her sitting there. Everyone expected her to go early. The former UConn star, the media darling, the one always linked with Clark in headlines. But nope, Caitlin went for Sato Sabali instead. Another move that was both strategic mutts and maybe a little personal. At the end of the day, Clark's draft wasn't just smart, it was surgical. She knew what she was doing. She sent a message, built a real threat of a team, and made sure no one on her bench would go rogue with weird energy. She got her shooters, her rebounders, her defenders, and her peace of mind. Here's where things get a little spicy. Not just on the court, but behind the clipboard. Because while most people were watching the WNBA All-Star Draft to see who Caitlin Clark picked, a few were paying attention to who's coaching. And that's where Sandy Brondello comes in, quietly stepping in as Clark's new coach after the now infamous swap that sent Cheryl Reeve packing. But this wasn't just a coaching
change.
This might have been the soft launch of the 2028 free agency sweepstakes. Yes, we're saying it. Sandy Brondello, head coach of the New York Liberty, now finds herself coaching both Caitlin Clark and Sabrina Ionescu on the same team. Coincidence? Maybe. Strategic maneuvering from the Liberty front office? You bet.